Horror lovers and cinema fans, buckle up, because we are about to talk about a box office phenomenon that has the entire world screaming, shivering, and at the same time, celebrating. Yes, I'm talking about The Conjuring, Last Rites, the latest spine-chilling installment in James Wan's supernatural horror universe, which has just pulled off a history-making opening. According to international box office reports, The Conjuring, Last Rites has grossed a divine $187 million worldwide on its opening weekend. That's not just a big number, it's a record breaker. The film has now officially claimed the title of the biggest ever overseas debut for a horror movie, dethroning past hits and proving once again that the world cannot resist a terrifying tale well told. Now, let's pause for a second here. Horror films have always had a unique space in cinema. They're relatively inexpensive to make compared to superhero epics or massive sci-fi adventures, yet they have the ability to connect with audiences universally. Fear, after all, is a language we all understand. And the Conjuring franchise has mastered the art of turning fear into a global blockbuster formula. So, what exactly makes Last Rites so special? Fans say this chapter feels like both a conclusion and a rebirth. Directed with chilling precision, it dives deeper into the Warrens' universe, while also opening up new storylines for the future. The trailer promised intensity, mystery, and demonic dread, and judging by the box office, audiences couldn't wait to be haunted once more. But the real story here is how The Conjuring, Last Rites has traveled across borders. Overseas markets like Mexico, Brazil, the Philippines, and India showed massive turnouts, with sold-out late-night screenings and horror marathons filling theaters. In Europe, it stunned analysts by outperforming even mainstream action flicks, proving horror is not just a niche anymore, it's mainstream pop culture. In North America, the film had a strong debut as well, but it was the international performance that shocked industry insiders. To put it in perspective, Hollywood tentpoles often dominate overseas box offices, but for a horror film to rise to these heights is almost unheard of. This is the first time a supernatural horror has opened so high outside of its home market, setting a new gold standard. And let's not forget the franchise's history. Starting in 2013 with The Conjuring, the series has consistently delivered massive returns. Spin-offs like Annabelle and The Nun have each had their moments of dominance. But with Last Rites, Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema may have just unleashed the crown jewel of the series. The numbers tell us one thing, but the fan reactions tell another. Social media is buzzing with clips of audiences literally screaming in theaters, jumping out of their seats, and then lining up to watch it again. Hashtags like #TheConjuringLastRites and #ScariestMovieEver are trending, with horror enthusiasts calling it the best installment yet. What's also fascinating about The Conjuring, Last Rites, is the communal experience it's creating. Horror is one of those genres best enjoyed together. The jump scares hit harder when you're sitting in a packed theater, the nervous laughter spreads faster, and the gasps echo longer. Across the world, fans are posting videos of audiences screaming in unison, clutching strangers' arms, and even applauding after the credits roll. It's become more than just a film. It's an event where people come together to be scared and then celebrate surviving it. And perhaps that's why this record-breaking debut feels so important. In an era where streaming has pulled so many viewers away from theaters, horror continues to drag people back into the dark, collective magic of the cinema. The Conjuring, Last Rites, is not just a box office hit. It's a reminder that shared fear can be thrilling and that nothing compares to watching a scary story unfold on the biggest screen possible. It's proof that horror, at its best, doesn't just haunt us, it unites us. Now, let's talk about why this matters beyond just the numbers. In recent years, horror has been evolving. We've seen psychological horror with films like Hereditary and The Babadook, social commentary horror with Get Out, and of course, big universe horror with The Conjuring saga. What Last Rites shows us is that audiences want both big scares and big spectacle. It's proof that horror is no longer a guilty pleasure, it's a global event. Film critics are also weighing in. While some say the formula is familiar, others argue that's exactly why it works. It's comfort food for thrill seekers. You know you'll scream, you know you'll hide your eyes, but you also know you'll come back for more. That predictability, paired with top-notch execution, is what makes this franchise nearly unbeatable. And of course, let's not ignore the business side. With $187 million on opening weekend alone, The Conjuring, Last Rites is on track to cross $500 million globally if word of mouth continues strong. For Warner Brothers, this success couldn't come at a better time. In a year where superhero films have underperformed and box office predictions have been shaky, horror has come in to save the day. What's more fascinating is how this success might reshape the industry. Studios will definitely be looking to greenlight more horror universes, spin-offs, and high-quality scares, seeing that the appetite is clearly there. Expect to hear more news about The Nun 3, Annabelle Returns, or maybe even new horror IPs inspired by this success. But beyond the numbers, there's also a cultural conversation happening. Horror is cathartic. It lets us face our fears in a safe space. In a world that feels unpredictable, a horror movie almost feels like a release valve. You scream, you laugh nervously, you walk out into the night relieved, and then you can't stop talking about it. That's the magic of a movie like The Conjuring, Last Rites. So, listeners, whether you're a hardcore horror buff or someone who watches through the cracks of your fingers, this film is one you won't want to miss. Just be prepared. Critics are warning that it's the scariest chapter yet, and audiences are backing that claim with trembling voices and racing hearts. Before we wrap, here's a fun fact. The Conjuring universe has now officially grossed over $2.5 billion worldwide across all its films. That makes it one of the most successful horror franchises in history. And with Last Rites setting records right out of the gate, that number is only going to climb. So to everyone out there braving the theater, dimming the lights, and daring the demons, remember, you're not just watching a movie, you're part of a cultural phenomenon. Horror has never been bigger, scarier, or more global. And with that, we close the coffin lid for now. The Conjuring, Last Rites is here. It's terrifying, it's making history, and it's proving once again that when it comes to box office scares, the devil is definitely in the details. This is Radio 1 International, bringing you the chills, the thrills, and the headlines that make pop culture scream.